Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. Welcome to this new video. In this video, we're going to be looking at something that I have mentioned quite a few times on the channel, or something that's called line weight. I don't know if you can see that, but line weights, that's today's topic, line weights. And so we're going to look at that, and I'm going to show you how to this thing called build your lines. All right, build your lines. This is something that some artists do. I do this all the time. There's some other artists out there in the indie scene, also in professionals also that do that. But this is a technique that we use in replacement or in replacing another technique that we can't do, I guess you could say, or maybe that we just choose not to do. No, but so for this, I'm going to try to explain what this means, and I want to show you some examples, an example actually. And so first we need to understand what line weight is. What is line weight? Line weight is referring to the thickness of the line. Sometimes you can have a very thin line, and other times you can have a very thick line. You know, so in comic book art, you need to learn how to use both of those lines in different areas of the art of the drawing. And so you can't use one single thickness for a line for the entire drawing. No, you can't do that. If you do that, that's an idea, something that's called a deadline. And actually, a deadline is more like just one single line that has no change, no variation in line weight. It's just one same line weight. And this is normally what artists do, or I'm sorry, this is normally what people learning how to draw, how to ink in art, they do this, and you shouldn't do this. What you have to do is you have to create a variation between the thin line and the thick line. So we need to understand what that is so we can improve on our art. So I'm going to show you this example. This is just something that I got on copy paper, but this is a piece by Art Adams. This is for the cover of Amazing Spider-Man number 83. I think it was. and here you can see, for example, I think this is a very, very good example of line weight variation in use. Because normally the premise is that the thicker the line, the closer that object is to the screen. You know, so if you have a line this thick, it means that this object that you're drawing is closer to the viewer, not to the screen, to the viewer. And then the thinner the line means that that object is further away. Now, so if you have, for example, I saw this the other day on a show. I don't know, I forgot what video it was. A Proco show. I think it was Mark Morales explaining this. But if you have three objects, with different line weights, then to the viewer's understanding, this object would be closer to them than this object is. You know, and independent of the size, you know, you can do something like that, or overlapping like this, and you can see that this object here is closer to the viewer than this piece or this one. You know, so that's the idea. That's the logic. That's the premise. That's the concept, is that the thicker the line, the closer it is to the viewer, and we can see that executed here masterfully by Art Adams. Professional artists in general, they use this technique of thicker lines to closer to the viewer and thinner lines away, but not everyone is as adamant or strict with it as art is. Some artists use it varyingly, other artists don't. But it's important to understand what the concept is in order before you can play around with it. So let's take a look, and excuse me, I'm fighting off like a cold or something, but yeah. So we can see in this piece, we have a lot of different items. We have this cup. We have this box of donuts. We have this box of donuts here. We have this Spider-Man piece, and then we have other things like this object. I'm not sure what that. It looks like a bat. Yeah, like a bat. Then we have this pipe. We have this crowbar here. We got a fist here and a fist here. No, so the fists and these things obviously are from the viewer's point of view. So it's like the viewer looking, and so we can see that these objects here, they are like really close to the viewer. And how does art differentiate that from the other objects? By using different thicknesses in the line. And so you can see here, for example, it's a really bold, thick line on the contour, on the outer edge of it. Really bold. And then, for example, like the newspaper, newspaper down here has got a really thin line. It has a really thin line. And then here again, a really thick line. And then, for example, this object here, I think is like a can, a spray can, I think it is. It's got really thin lines. Now the box of donuts has got little thin lines, and then this one has thick lines. And actually, this is like the perfect example of varying line weights, because here you have a certain thickness at the very top, and then it gets thinner to this area here, because the idea is that this area of the object is closer to the viewer, and then this area is further into the background. And so you see that effect fully. You see that fully in display here on this piece. So this piece is just wonderful piece. All of art's pieces are wonderful, but this pops out for this particular reason that I'm showing you for. So that's the idea. So how do you apply that concept to how does that work with building lines? I'm going to take a look at this piece. This is a scan on copy paper of a drawing that I'm currently working on. Here's the original. This is Groken from the master Kenneth Roquefort. I'm doing fan art of Groken. And so here, for example, I've done my line work. My line work is not fully rendered, because usually what I do is I do the pencils, I do the lines, just the bare lines like this. And then from this, I'd start rendering and then doing my line work and then doing all this number here. And also doing all this stuff here. So this isn't finished. This is like maybe one step before getting to this final stage. And so this is the original. I'm going to do this later, but I wanted to show you what this concept is of building your lines. I wanted to show you what this is. So here I have my piece. I have my bare lines. And I'm going to draw on top of this, and then do some varying with the line weights. Now I'm going to work specifically on this arm here, and one thing that we have to take into consideration is our light source, because there's two things that can change your light weight. Two immediate things, because there's other things also. There's two things that can change, that can influence what the thickness of the line is. Number one is the closeness to the viewer. Now, as we can see here with Art's example, the closer the object, the thicker the line. That's the idea. So the closer the object, thicker the line. Which is what we saw here. Closer the object, thicker the line. And then the second thing that is going to determine the thickness is the light source. So this means closer to the light source. I'm gonna put LS for light source. Thinner the line. All right. So we're going to see that right here. This is the object that I'm going to draw. This is the object that I'm going to work on, and I have to pick my light source. And I'm going to pick my light source. I already have it here, already in the original, but just to give you an example, I'm going to put it here. All right, so let's see if I can zoom in a little bit. I think that's okay. All right, so this is the light source. The light is shining down like this, and so we have this object. This is all this, and then we have this object here. And this is the arm. So what this means is that this area here that is closer to the light source is going to have a thinner line, almost like the exact same line that you see here. Whereas this area, this bottom area here that's in the darkness, this is going to have a thicker line. So I'm going to show you how I do that. So I start with the smallest one first. In this case, I'm going to start with an 01. If you see Kenneth working on his pieces, he almost always does everything with an 01. We can see that. Yeah. All right, so I got that part laid out pretty much. I'm going pretty fast also because I don't want to take up too much time. But yeah, you can see there, it's just pretty principle, very rudimentary line weight. So the concept of building your line is just drawing it thin like this first, and then going over it and over it and over again until you get the line weight that you desire. In this case, for the line weight, I'm going to work with this. If you see my videos before, you've seen me work with this a bunch of times. So the area that is further away, this is the light source, so this bottom area here, I'm going to go over it with thicker lines. And so you can see the variation from here, and it gets thicker towards the bottom, which is the idea. And it's encouraged to play with it. It's also encouraged to get as thick as you need. You don't be afraid. As you see, for example, in Art Adams' piece, his lines are immensely thick. Look how thick that is. That's a really thick line. So yeah, do that if you can. No? Now, you don't want to have a deadline even if it is thick. So here, for example, it's always encouraged to play with it even more. So for example, I'll do something like this, do something like that, and to have some kind of variation to it, because even you can have a thick deadline or a thin deadline. Those deadlines are not always the best thing to have. So play with it. You can have these areas where there's like a lot of there's a lot of thickness to the line, and then like that, for example. All right, so that's the idea with line weights, and that's pretty much it. So that's what building your line is you start off with something very basic like this, just very thin line, and then once you've selected your light source, you point out your light source. Your light source can be here. Your light source can be here also. Then you can make the line thicker accordingly. So this is something that I do. Some people, for example, these are inks over the pencils, and the pencils are, when I do pencils, they're always just these lines. I don't render ahead of time. So I like doing this, and then this, for example, in my opinion, gives me a lot of freedom, because I can put the light source anywhere. I can put it up here. I selected to put it up here for the original, but I can do it this way also. And I can put the light source here. Then I can make this line thicker. Let's see if we can see that. Play with it always now. So Yeah, and it's encouraged to play with it, because even if you mess up per se, you can just go over it again until you get it just right. And so I pick my light source here and I can do with that. So you want to be careful with that, because you can't have, for example, contradicting light sources. Like I have one, if I can zoom out, sorry, wrong way. And like I have this one going this way, then I have that one going that way. It's really, please, like, be careful when you do that, because you don't want them to have them in different directions. No, but that's the idea. That's what building your line is. Now, why do you build your lines? We build our lines because we're trying to replace a technique that other inkers can do with a brush. This is a brush tip pen, and so normally with a brush, people who use brushes, just depending on the pressure that they put down on the brush, they can give you a thin line or a thick line. But people like me, who can't really work with the brush, we imitate that effect. It's like, well, the person with the brush that can go thin and then thick, like that. They can do that single-handedly and then not need to do all this work here. So I don't have that kind of a skill just yet to do that at my whim. But I have this technique here that helps me kind of like, hide that. So I think this is something that anybody can do, or that most people can do with their inks and stuff. So if you like, give it a shot, try it out. And but if you're using brushes, then continue using brushes, because brushes are, so some people can do like this thick line like that. Some people can do the thin, thick, thin again. Like I'm not there yet. So I think one day I will be, but right now I'm not. So yeah, so that's the idea. You can construct your lines. And so if you're doing contours like Art Adams is, then for example, I can pick out the outer edge, not everything, but the outer edge, and then I can draw a thick line here. And also understand that art is completely subjective. So what you think looks cool may not look cool to someone else. So it's just it's just everything can work. You can use anything. Everything can look cool. Like don't take that what I'm saying to be 100% fact. Crap, sorry, because it is. I mean, it's not. It's just my analysis, my opinion of what I see in art. So okay, you can do that. And so because some people argue like not to do a contour all around the shape, because then that way you can almost kill the illusion of the light source. But art doesn't care about that. He just goes in, he does that. If you take a look at his pieces, most of his pieces have this contour edge to it. There's other artists in the indie scene that do that also, which is great. I think it's great. I do that also where I can. And so you can see here, for example, the outer edge. Then I get, for example, like a smaller pen, and then I go in, and then I do the same. It's basically the same thing, just at a thinner quantity, And so that's how you do it, and then just work on it slowly but surely until you get it done. And so yeah, so that's pretty much it. I hope you liked the video. If you did, hit that like button, hit the thumbs up, share the video out, and yeah, and just to let you know, I will be inking this original live this Saturday, which I think is December 9th. Please be sure to tune in. And it's not the Ominous Morning Show. It's just going to be me inking this. If I can, then I'll bring on some guests. If not, it'll just be me inking this, and you'll see me ink this from beginning to end. I think between now and then, though, I think I might spot some blacks. So I'll spot some black areas, and then have that ready before I start, before I actually start inking this live. So yeah, so please be sure to check it out. This is my Groken piece. If you don't know who Groken is, then I don't even know why you're following me. Groken is this beautiful book made by Kenneth Roquefort. He's the creator of this. Kenneth Roquefort here is his name. He put this book. He put this book out years ago, but Groken 2 started fulfilling this year, and the campaign is done. So if you don't have it, you have to wait till Groken 3 comes out, which will be next year. But yeah, this is an awesome book, an awesome character, and I'm doing fan art piece of this character, and yeah, so showing my support to the awesome Kenneth, excellent artist. And so be sure to follow him also. He's also on social media. He does a lot of great videos. He does on YouTube. He's got awesome painting videos, and he goes from beginning to end, and he does everything that way. So be sure to check him out when you can. And yeah, that's it. So thank you very much. Have a great day, and I will see you December 9th. December 9th, please tune in. I will be inking this piece here live on the channel. Thank you very much. Have a great day. Take care. Hello, everyone. The time is finally upon us. Ominous Avenging Death is now available. Avenging Death is a short 10-page story that serves as a preview of what kind of art you can expect and the world you'll see in the main story of Ominous. In Avenging Death, we'll see Zadok take on the monstrous Deathmonger in a 10-page fight scene that'll be sure to get you hooked into the world of Ominous. All of the artwork is done, including the line art, which was done by me, the colors, which were done by Emmanuel Orlas, and the lettering, which was done by Paul Bird. So grab your copy of the digital PDF file today for only $5. That's right, $5. Contact me in my DMs on Twitter for more information. Now, coming up next is the official trailer of Ominous Avenging Death. Enjoy.